We're back then today with another video for Last Epoch. Previously on the channel, when I used to cover Marvel's Avengers, I would actually do stream recaps for that game. Personally, I enjoyed doing them because I found out a lot of information myself, but it seemed like the community really enjoyed them as well. So the whole goal behind those videos was taking potentially an hour or a 2 long hour stream and getting all the interesting parts, cutting them out and putting them in one video that was hopefully between 10 to 20 minutes maximum. So we'll start doing that for Last Epoch and we'll see how we got on with these. The streaming question we're starting off with, this is a Q&A stream from Friday night, just past there. This was on Twitch and it was Mike, who's one of the lead developers, who was on this. Now, not to spoil everything that's in this, but there's a lot of information. We've got some details on catch-up mechanics for when you're leveling alt characters, some information in PvP, details on the game releasing on other platforms potentially, more information on factions, and they reveal that more factions will be coming to the game at one point, some details on achievements, and then we've got a breakdown of a blessing library that will be coming to the game where you can actually save your blessings as well. There's actually a ton more than that, but that's just to pique your interest there at the start. Now, if you like this kind of video, do let me know in the comments below and hit the like button as well, and then if it's popular enough, I'll look to do these whenever one of the stream goes out. But enjoy this, and thanks for tuning in.
Hi, please provide a way to search by stat range in trade. Also, the progress bar feels very slow to level up the faction. Yeah, it's interesting. We actually, and I mentioned this last time, but we actually cranked the speed that you level things up in factions like crazy right before the patch. It used to be way longer. And we actually cranked it up just before then too. Anyways, the search stuff, yeah, we're gonna be adding some more quality of life stuff to the buying and selling process for Merchants Guild. There was just a few use cases that I guess we didn't think would be as desired as they are. Might be the best way to put it, but definitely should have been there from the start. And yeah, we're working on adding some of those. Some of them will be. Most of those will take a little bit longer to add in. So don't expect major changes to that until next patch, I would say. Will seasons be like PoE? Things stay in core game, or like Diablo, just forget? We more like PoE. I mean, if there's something that was I don't know, problematic and couldn't come over for some reason, I mean, there's always a chance that it might not transition nicely, but you know, we design everything with the intent that it will be core right from the get-go, like immediately out of the gate. So, thoughts on not dying? Thoughts on some sort of catch-up corruption being account-wide so that alts can be challenging content faster? We are looking at how fast alt characters progress between hey, I'm a new character, and hey, I'm farming the content that I was farming before on that other character on your main. And we do have, yeah, potion salt looks so good, but the other stuff's just so useless. We do have some we do want to work Caltrops in at some point. We do have some plans for speeding that process up overall. I'm wording it this way because I don't want to imply that the answer is yes, because the answer is not yes. But yeah, we are looking at how we can make the process of alts getting into the picture for people who can afford the increased difficulty scaling rate. Right, more questions. Will you guys be adding PvP to the game? I think there's a good chance of PvP getting a spot in the feature list at some point. We don't have specific plans for it at the moment. There's no timeline for it. There's no like game plan or patch timing or anything like that, or even what it would look like if we did. There's a lot of PvE stuff that we've got to nail down first before we start taking that plunge, really. Hey man, are you planning on releasing Last Epoch other than Steam, like Amazon, etc.? We are planning on expanding to different platforms. What those platforms are, I don't know. So maybe I haven't heard any. This is the first time I've heard anyone suggest Amazon as an option from the community even. Is inspecting something that's on the list for the future. It is something that we want to be able to add in. It's not. I don't have any sort of timeline on it. I'd say that there's a decent chance it's something that we start working on at some point. Yes, with MTX being the most direct way to support you all, when the next wave drops, I notice a new pet. Oh yes, I feel like you deleted it because I already answered this. That's okay. The next MTX usually comes out with major patch cycle drops. So when the next patch drops, there'll be more MTX. Is there any key change to factions coming in the future? I mean, like, we're gonna add more factions. Like I've said lots of times before, so that's not news. I don't think there's gonna be. We don't have any immediate like siren, like sound the alarm changes that have to be made to item factions as they are right now. I think they're doing really well overall. There's little things here and there that do need to be addressed and improved upon with both of them. But the core, I think the core idea and the core feeling is overall doing really well. With the Pinnacle bosses coming for 1.1, can we expect some progression system that leads up to it? Or is it going to be something like reach 300 corruption to fight the boss? There's going to be, I can't go into any details on it, but it is going to be a system. It's a Pinnacle system, not the Pinnacle boss. Are there any plans for achievements? All my friends quit already because they haven't got anything to look for in the end. This is such an interesting. I find this a very interesting question in contrast to an earlier question we got about how it takes too long to like complete Circle of Fortune or Merchant's Guild to level them up, like and having these like these goals. It's so, I find it really difficult to design goals that are somehow simultaneously easy to achieve but also take a long time, and are fast but also slow. And I don't really know the best way to do it yet. But there's this like this definite tug of war happening on how long things take. Still trying to find that sweet spot, I guess. As for in-game achievements specifically, yes, we are planning on adding in-game achievements. No, I do not know when. Any plans for changing blessing farming? Yes, they will be. We had talked about making them be just where you could basically respec them at the passive respec vendor to change ones you already had found. It requires a little bit more back-end finagling than I think was initially thought when it was originally announced that we were doing this, so it didn't have time to make it into 1.0. Unfortunately, basically the way this works, these are actually slots in your stash. These 10 slots that have items in them they're actually items, and they're actually stash slots is what this actually is. Yeah, which I know sounds ridiculous, but that's what it is. And when you discover them, it just adds them to a list of discovered blessings. It doesn't actually save the blessing that you found at the time. So the only blessings that are recorded in your stash right now are these ones. So we have to like change the container types, and do a bunch of other stuff to make this actually function to be able to switch between them. So it was a little bit more involved, and just didn't quite have the bandwidth to get that in play in time. Any plans for more unusual shapeshift forms or pets? I think we'll see. I think we'll likely see. So a new shapeshift. Well, we just added a new pet with the falconer. Shapeshift forms and pets are the hardest skills for us to make. They take so much longer to make than any other skill. It's insane. Like, it's just crazy the difference in time it takes. So we do. we do love having them. We do love adding them, and I think there's a very good chance we'll keep adding more of them. I don't think new new companions and new primalist forms specifically will be coming anytime really soon. Mostly because I think that the 3 forms that are there are all pretty sweet in their own way. And like Sabretooth needs a rework before we add a new companion. At the very least, Sabretooth needs a rework before we add a new companion. Any plans for game cosmetic rewards or some secrets to award them? That means, yeah. I can't give you anything specific, but yes, having ways to earn cosmetics in game, I think is awesome, and you know, it'll probably start very slow, and there probably won't be very many to begin with when we start doing it slowly. But you know, that is the sort of thing that we do really like having in the game, and on the lookout for good opportunities to do that well. I guess just as a personal note on that topic, I do find it a little tricky to balance. There's a few things to balance, because if you make it, so technically we've already done this. You could earn cosmetics by just logging in the first week of the game. Well, that was an apology for us messing up, but it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of there. So there's like that's the easiest way of doing it. You know, like there's it's just, you showed up, you got it, you were there. It was a check-in, it was a time, you punched your time card, you got in, it was good to go. Let's go do a crouch on. That's just super fun. It's gonna make Leon hard. I don't care. Let's go do it. And then there's the other extreme is, here's the reward for being first on the leaderboard in a cycle. The one person who's first gets it. Like, those are the two extreme opposite ends of the spectrum. And somewhere in the middle, for different types of events and different things and different reasons for adding it, there's really great mechanics buried in there somewhere. Any plans on being able to respec more than 1 point at a time? Yes. And also allowing adding, not only removing while interacting with the NPC. Yeah, that whole system, yes, it needs love, and it's gonna get it. Can you give us some hints on what sort of flavor you'll be adding to set items to make them more interesting? I can't really go into details. I can say that it'll be something that incorporates them into the end game itemization process a little bit better, a little more interesting ways. So you'll still be, so you can, so you'll care about picking up set items again.